What's up, everybody on YouTube? Rich's Rants and Do-It-Yourself Projects right here. It is Sunday, fun day, gun day, and I am excited. As you probably saw my previous video, I did, I think, Friday evening about this Savage 110 Magpul Scout that I have right here in front of me. And I am going to install the Vortex Scout 1.5 to 5.5 by 32 scope on it, along with the Vortex Pro rifle scope rings for a 1-inch tube here. And this is the scope. It is illuminated. I mentioned and kind of did a little review on this scope on last Friday, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. It is illuminated, bunch of different settings over here. I won't get into it today on this video because I did all that last Friday, a couple days ago. Of course, like any scope, elevation, windage, and all the good stuff. But this is to be mounted in front of the action, which should be about right there. Yeah, right there. So it's to be mounted right there. The low mount scope rings that I've got from Vortex, the Pro Rifle scope rings, should mount just perfect in front of the Scout. Now here's one thing too, when Cooper, you don't know who Cooper is, Cooper was a guy that actually defined what a Scout rifle was. I'm going to give you a little introduction to kind of catch y'all up for those that haven't been following me and just see this video. Cooper back in the 70s, 80s defined what a Scout rifle was. And I believe he was a retired military vet. And back then, he was using that technology back then, right? We have more advanced technology in today's 2026 rifles and optics, etc. Hence this setup, right? Magpul stock or chassis and adjustable cones and all that good stuff. Stocks back here, etc. And of course, these weren't available back then either. But anyway, so they had an open action back in those days, and the reason he said you need a scope to go in front of the action was because you didn't want the ejection when you rack your bolt back to eject around after a shot to hit your scope, which would have been typically right here, right? About right there somewhere. Yep, right there. And so his idea was mounted in front of the action. Well, even with today's technology, we can still do that because they offer these Scout scopes in different brands and variations. And this one particularly is from Vortex. And the Scout scopes have a very long eye relief, so you're able to mount it in front of your action. And this one's 9 to 24 inches, if I'm correct. That's a huge. I mean, that's an eye relief out to here, man. So when you got this mounted in front of your action, about right here, your cheek is back here, right? Your head, your eyes, all that's about right here. That's going to fall right in the line or the distance of that 9 to 24 inches that you're going to need to have a forward-mounted scope like this. And so I want to try to keep true to Cooper's definition or recommendations or guidelines as to a Scout rifle. Now this one's not specific to what he defined, especially in the weight. The Magpul does add more weight. I think his weight was something like 6.5 pounds at the max to include a scope. Heck, it may have even been suggested by him to be lighter than that. That's a lot to achieve. Probably not back then, I wouldn't think. I mean, if I went with a standard, kind of a chassis like this came off my Ruger American Predator. This is really light. I mean, this thing feels like nothing. I think my Ruger Predator was, I think it had a weight of 6.4, 6.5, plus adding a scope to it. I've since tricked it out, obviously, because here's my stock with nothing in it. So I obviously tricked that rifle out. But even it came out after I tricked it out with a big old Vortex Viper scope on it, 5 to 25 by 50. It came out to right at 10 pounds 3 ounces, and that was with other additions, not only the scope, but the MDT field stock I added to it, upgraded the bolt as well, and some other things that upgraded to it on top of that. So that all obviously added some weight. But getting into this Savage Scout rifle, now they have a Scout. This one's discontinued, by the way. They always come out with new models, right? So Savage came out with a new model. I believe it's called the V2. So those of y'all looking at buying this particular setup that I have, you're probably not going to find it in a 308. They have discontinued this model, and this one had been out a few years. But they've come out with a V2 now that has basically all this is the same, and the trigger, everything, the bolt, all that's the same. The V2 is a different chassis, different stock. This one you have to pull the cone, put another cone on top if you want to raise it, which you do have those or can get those. The stock is adjustable, and you have to pull the screws out to be able to add spacers in here, which is standard on a lot of adjustable cones and adjustable stocks where you have to do that manually like that, but I call it manually. The new Savage rifle now has a knob about right here that when you turn it, the cone goes up and down, and when you push the knob into the stock, it releases the back, and then you can push the knob in and pull the butt out right to whatever length you want, different adjustments. That's pretty cool. I saw that on a video for SHOT Show 2026, but those rifles haven't even hit the stores yet. I mean, I looked just this morning. You can't find a V2 anywhere. At least this morning when I looked, I couldn't find it anywhere. And dang sure not in the 308, which, as y'all know, if y'all subscribe and watch my videos, I love the 308 rifles. But I couldn't find a V2 in any caliber, man. And I think Savage offers them in every caliber. They're so new at SHOT Show 2026. They haven't hit the dealers yet. And it's hard to find this one because they discontinued it, and most dealers are sold out of this one. When I bought this was the last one they had. Actually, I take it back. They had two in stock in a 308. There was no other dealer. And this came from Bud's Gun Shop, by the way. If anybody's into guns, knows anything, Bud's Gun Shop, they sell a shitload of guns. There are multiple stores, and they have a lot of guns. And their prices are good too. I'm not gonna lie. I got good deals, good prices through Bud's. But your local shops. Nobody had this at my local gun FFLs or dealers that I deal with. I deal with independents. I went to the box stores. Nobody locally, Bass Pro, Cabela's, some other Academy, Sports and Outdoors, which is a chain store here. Nobody had this. You couldn't get them. Nobody has them. They didn't have them online either. I mean, you couldn't get them. So I saw this at Bud's, and they had, I think, the two in stock. And I jumped on it, man. I got it. And there's none in stock now. I don't think you can get any of them, get this anywhere. Anyway, I keep digressing on getting into that. Let's get into mounting this Vortex pod. I always got allergies, guys. Some people say allergies during the allergy season. I have it all year round, man. Been like that since I was a kid. So bear with me. I'm going to mount this. I'm not going to do it in a video because again, YouTube is wishy-washy, man. They got some weird-ass guidelines. I'm sure I would violate something just by putting an accessory onto a rifle. And for YouTube, while I'm talking about that, there's not even a bolt in here, right? There's no bolts. This thing there's no magazine, there's no bolt, it's not loaded. It is 100% as clear you can get, right? So I'm going to pause for a second, and I'm going to mount this scope, like I said, in the front up here. Up there, I'm going to put it in my Tipton Best Gun Vise that y'all probably seen on a open box review that I did. I'm by no means a gunsmith. I'm a gun enthusiast at home, and none of this stuff is given to me. It's not paid promotions or none of that. I bought all this shit myself, man. I spent my hard-earned money on a welding shop and a welder, and I bought all this stuff myself. But it's a hobby of mine, and I enjoy it. And this is my stress reliever from work, and this is what I do when I'm at home. Is I play around with this. So I'm gonna get this set up. I got everything over here on my table. I'm gonna pull it all right here in front of me, and I'm gonna get it all set up. get this scope on there, and I'll come back and start recording. So I'll see you guys here in a little while. All right, so I've got it set up on my best gun vise, and I'm going to lock it down in place, which I do like this best gun vise. I've had some other gun bench rest, or whatever you want to call these things, but they, you try to use the ones that you actually take to the range and shoot out of. Don't work on your guns with those, man. That doesn't work. Actually buy you a gunsmith vise, whether it be the Tipton best gun vise or another type of Tipton gun vise or another brand. I mean, Cabela's makes them, Caldwell. I mean, all those brand people, they all make different types of gun vices. But those shooting sleds, I'm going to call it a shooting sled, whether it be Caldwell or any of the other ones, lead sleds or I think Stinger's one of them that I have. Man, don't work on your guns on those. Your gun's going to fall off. It's going to slip out. You're going to, you try to mount a scope on it. It's going to twist on you. It's going to hit the ground. And guess what, man? One, it's not safe. And two, you're going to wind up breaking something. I'm telling you, man. I've been there and done it. I'm telling you. I bought this thing, and it makes it so much easier. Just spend a little bit of money and buy an actual gunsmithing gun vise. And this, I think I paid $129 or something like that for this. I did buy it. I went to Bass Pro. I was going to buy it, but Bass Pro was, man, I want to say they were $10-20 more than ordering this online. Yeah, I think it came from Amazon, to be honest. But I did order it online, wherever it came from, and it was cheaper with free shipping. And I had it delivered the next day or same day. Yeah, it had to be Amazon because it was, I think, same day prime delivery. And I got it that fast, and I paid at least $10-20 cheaper than what it was offered at the big, at Bass Pro. And I love Bass Pro. I'm not knocking Bass Pro, man. I buy a lot of stuff from Bass Pro. But if I can get it delivered that same day or the next day, and I'm not in a hurry, yeah, I'm going to order it online if I find it cheaper, even if it's Amazon. So just a little advice on a workbench or a gun vise for your rifles. This thing will work on rifles, and also, I don't do my pistols on here, but I think you can do pistols on it too. I think it's got some attachments you can add to this. It's got like let me just show y'all this. I'm not getting into the review of this. I did that earlier in another video. Go look for that. But it's got different attachments for it, but it's got places here to hold your stuff, which I like as well. I'm going to get rid of this stuff. But you can lock your rifles down, and when you lock them down, you tighten these up real quick. I'll just show y'all while we're here. YouTube won't gig me on this. I can lock all this stuff down and get my gun straight. I can level it. Once I level it, I can hold it in place when I lock it down. And this thing doesn't, I mean, look, see, look, that's how sturdy this thing is. And I didn't even really lock it tight, but that's how sturdy it is. So if you're doing some people look down the bore. Since I got the bolt pulled out, I may just look down the bore and do a bore sight later after I get my scope on there. But I am going to put a scope lever on it that I have, leveling kit. I'm going to put that on here, and I should be able to mount all that real easy on the barrel end right here, because there's, that's open right there. I should be able to put that on there and level everything. I got plenty of Picatinny rail up there to do all that with. So I'm going to get that all set up, and again, I'm not going to show you all that because YouTube just, and they're going to gig me on it and strike me, and you get enough of those strikes, they'll actually close your account. So let's not do that. And I will be back. I'm going to set all that up, get that scope on there, and the next time y'all see me, it will be me showing you that Vortex Scout scope on this Savage Magpul Scout rifle. All right, guys, so I did come back a little earlier than actually getting everything installed. I've seen some videos where people have actually at least shown this part of it, so I don't think YouTube's going to strike me on this. I hope not. We'll find out. But I have my scope mounting leveling kit on here, and basically what you do is you level your rifle not so much parallel with the bench or the floor or the table, whatnot, but your axis going left and right. Basically, I guess you'd call it your windage, and just to kind of give you something, to go by perspective wise. But so the clamp on the front, the level on the front is in the bubble. you put your scope on it and you make sure that those bubbles line up, right? And they give you other, levels in here to check out too. But this one, not really so much important, is that you get your rifle level left and right, so to speak, which it is there between the lines. And then you put your scope in your ring mounts, which I've already got the ring mounts in and torqued to the picketing rail. And then I set the scope on top of that on the ring mounts, and then I can twist the scope, right? I can position it where I want, and you can see I've got it right where I wanted it, right at that action, right? Which I mentioned earlier in the video. And now I want to make sure that this level on the scope, because if I rotate the scope, the level is going to adjust as well, right? And the level of the scope, the pole is going to indicate that. So you want the scope level to mount with the rifle barrel level so that you get your crosshairs. Now the idea of this is to get your crosshairs, right? Straight with your barrel, right? So when you're looking down your rifle and your barrel is, on your shoulder and you're looking that way and your crosshairs, you don't want your crosshairs to be jacked up, your Christmas tree to be all jacked up left or right, one way or the other. You want to be pretty much as centered as possible, right? So that's what we're trying to accomplish here. And I've got everything spot on right here. So I did put one of the ring mounts on top. I'm going to come in there and just kind of snug in. There's controversy as to whether to use blue Loctite or not on these. I'm not going to. And I can readjust this, so the level just shifted off on me. Not a big deal, because I'm going to come back and re-level it. I just want to make sure I get everything kind of where I want it. And if you notice, I'm crossing these bolts or screws left and right, and then catty-cornered, so to speak. If anybody's ever changed a tire or wheel before, you kind of do that as well. Same thing. Just treat this the same way, so that you don't get anything crooked, crossed, or strip threads, or everything's evenly torqued. So I've got two in the front right now, and again my level's off because your scope's going to shift on you when you're doing all this. You can't help it. I'm not that delicate, man. I'm not that delicate. I'm just going to say, make sure your threads are going in. But back to the Loctite part of it. I don't like the way that feels. There we go. So back to the Loctite part, whether or not to use Loctite is, some people say if you put Loctite on there, the blue Loctite, not red, the blue Loctite, is that actually can work as a lubricant on your scope mounts and your rings. Other people say, hey, you use blue Loctite. That's the purpose of it, is to keep your screws from loosening up or backing out on you. Well, there's controversy to that. Who's right and who's wrong, I have no idea. That's like Ford versus Chevy. I ain't got a clue. But they say if you do use Loctite, you need to make sure that you come in and degrease the threads and the screws if you're going to use that blue Loctite. So I figured, screw it, I'm not putting blue Loctite in here. I honestly haven't used blue Loctite on any of my other scopes that I've mounted, and I've never had an issue with any screws backing out. As long as you're torquing them, and I am using a torque screwdriver here, as long as you torque them to the recommended specs. So the bottom recommended specs on the ring mounts to the picketing rail with 30 pounds per inch, and I actually go half, so I went 29.5 just to be safe. I don't want to over torque something and strip a screw or snap a bolt off. So I always, typically, if it says 30, I go 29.5. For your rings here, it says on Vortex to go 18 inch-pounds of torque on the ring screws. I've got this set at 17.5. And let me reset. Yep, 17.5. Again, just to play it safe. And you could go to probably 16 on this, and you probably never have an issue. Those are maximum torques, but you don't want to under torque it, because then you could risk a loose scope or mount, and which is going to throw your sight off, right? So close to that recommended torque. Again, I go a half pound under whatever it is they recommend, just because I'm just being erring on the side of caution, y'all. So I got a screw missing somewhere. Where's my other screw? Oh, there it is. So this is where we're at. I'm almost done. I'm gonna I got to realign my scope, level it. Now that I got these somewhat torqued down, and you don't want your scope too far forward or too far back. I do want to say, emphasize, when you put these ring mounts to your picnic rail, you want to keep them loose or somewhat snug, but enough to wiggle, and you want to push them down and forward towards the barrel end. Down and forward, because you got recoil when you shoot, especially big caliber rifles like this. There's a lot of recoil, right? A lot of jarring on these scope mounts. So if you push the mount here down and forward, and then again cross torque them, snug them up, and then torque them to recommended specs, then you should be good with them not under stress, backing out and loosening up on you. So that's the recommended way of doing it. You can look up any video. That's exactly what they all tell you to do. Vortex does, and Burris, and everybody, man. So I did that already. And on these right here, on the top that actually holds the scope down to the ring mounts to the picnic rail, you want to make sure that your scope isn't on the beveled end back here or on the front end here as well. Because as you torque this down, you don't want to crimp your scope, your tube, right? You don't want to crimp your tube. Another reason why you want to torque it no more than the recommended specs, because you don't want to crimp your tube and run your glass inside, or your reticles, or whatever else you got on this, on your scopes. And I like to leave a little wiggle room in there. So if I do need to adjust my eye relief, I can come back and push it forward a little bit if I need to, or I can push it back a little bit if I need to. And I've got like 1/4 inch in the back here if I need to go forward. Same thing in the front. Here's about 1/4 inch. So either way, I can maneuver my scope and my mounts 1/4 inch forward and rearward to adjust my eye relief. But with a 9-inch to 24-inch eye relief, I don't think I'm going to have an issue with this. So let me level this out, and making sure my barrel is level up there. I want to move my rifle at the same time I'm moving my scope. And my dogs are barking at me. Joe, you gotta wait. I'm in the middle of something here, sweetheart. She is not patient. So, just want to get it as perfect as possible as I can in the lines on that bubble. I think I'm good. So let me do a little torquing here, just kind of snug it so it doesn't move on me. Let's go there, there. I'm not torquing it, I'm just snugging them up. Keeping my scope level as much as possible with my barrel level. And again, I'm crossing all that, right? Ooh, I threw it off. Crap. Well, that's how, oh wait, you know what? Let me torque this side a little more. It's probably gonna pull that bubble back or level back. And let me loosen it, back it up. Went a little too tight, too fast. So as you tighten these, yeah, you gotta kind of watch that, right? Because it will twist on you. That's why you go cross with a little bit at a time. I just got impatient. The dog threw me off. So there we go. Let me do a little tightening here. And I'm making sure my bubble's not moving as I'm tightening this. Looking good there. Yeah, I didn't tighten these enough as I was crossing because these are really loose. There we go. If you can get the front or the back torqued pretty good, tightened pretty good, then your scope shouldn't go off level on you as you're tightening up the other screws. It really only takes about 2 screws left and right crossed to hold this in place. So we're just going to work on the back one here. That's looking pretty good. Let's focus on the rear. And I don't know, some people may say focus on the front. I have no idea. But I'm focusing on the rear. I think we're pretty good right there. Loosen this one up a little bit, give it a little check. These things are really sensitive, man, when it comes to. Of course, I'm probably a little more anal than I should be. Yeah, there we go. Loosened that one up and it put me right where I wanted to be on between those on the bubble. Again, you just got to go back and forth and just tweak it if you're as anal about it as I am. This just comes back to my welding skills, my fabrication skills, man, of dealing with tolerances. Man, that's perfect on the bubbles. Still watching my front. Loosen this up a little more. And you want your spacing. Yeah, I gotta loosen it up. This spacing right here, let me use this pin. The spacing here, the gap here, and here, you want it the same on both sides. You don't want one more than the other. Again, you want to try to keep these as even as possible. So that requires loosening and doing what I'm doing. I'm just tweaking it to make sure I get this thing as squared off as I can with the even spacing. Somebody will say, oh, he's making this more complicated than it needs to be. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. I just like to get things perfect. Yeah, I'll put this up. Let's hit my rifle. We're still level. Need to raise that side a little bit. There we go. Raise this a little more. Again, I'm trying to keep the spacing on both sides even. Still level, still level. Was taking ornery. Let's tighten that a little more. I think I got this side too loose. And let's torque this one down. Check my gap. My gap. JoJo's just mean, ain't she? All right. Good there, good there. Man, I'm almost touching both lines, but I am just so anal. That just irritates me when it's not perfectly between the bubbles, perfectly between the levels. rotate this just a little bit. That could be what's throwing me off. That's good. Still good. Yeah, I think I didn't have it quite. There we go. Now if I can torque these down and keep it right there, I'm good, man. Slowly check my spacing. This one needs to come down. Now we're getting there. And that's looking good. Looking good. You hear my torque? Yeah, we're level. We're level, man. Let's work on the front, make sure we won't throw nothing off. Again, keep our gapping the same, or as close to it as we can get, and that was way off. Let's go down on that side. So we're going to tweak this side more to even that out. Well, that light irritates the living shit out of me. Man, but we're perfectly level here. And our barrel is still level. How's that gapping looking on that side? Still level. Gapping is pretty darn close. That looks pretty dang good, y'all. We are level. Oh yeah. Our spacing here and here is right the same as here and here on this side. Dang sure close enough to the eye. Oh, let me just double check my torque. Double check the front. Yep. All right, it's stopping about 16.6, 16.7. And I think they said, what, 18? Yeah, we're gonna leave it at that. I don't want to overdo anything. These suckers are not gonna back out. Yeah. let's leave it alone after I torque this last one. Perfect. All right. Let me wet my whistle a little bit, y'all. So, level. All I need to do now is take it outside and point up into the air and blue skies we have and check those hairs and make sure we're good. Should be a cloth in here to clean these things. Thought it came with a cloth to clean them. If not, I'll go find one. I got a bunch of them somewhere. I do not see a cloth, but I swore it came with a cloth to clean the lenses. Anyway, rather than y'all watch me dig for that, I'll get one of those here in a minute. So that is your scope leveling kit, kind of a short how-to, and leveling your scope and mounting your scope. Everything's torqued now to specs. Let me let this dog in. She's driving me nuts. Come on, JoJo. Sorry about that, y'all. I had closed the door because my neighbor's cutting his grass on his riding lawnmower, and I didn't want y'all hearing that, but I think that's better than a dog barking. So we are, man, we're on the money here with this. Rich Robin, Rich's Ranch and Do It Yourself. This is me mounting the Vortex Scout Scope to the Savage Scout Rifle using a Warbull scope leveling kit, which is the brand of this one. I did a open box on this. You can go back and look at my other videos on those and see how that is. And I'm excited. I think this is a beautiful looking rifle. I think it's just cool as shit, to be quite honest. Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun rifle to play with, hunt with. I think it's going to be a great rifle for the intent of it, which is in my truck, in my side-by-side, or on my four-wheeler, my ATV, when I'm riding around the property. And my plan is this, not to deer hunt with it, because I have a deer hunting rifle. That's my American Predator. Y'all saw me do that build on. I did a couple videos of that one. I needed an updated video on it because I think I've got more stuff on it now than I showed in my last video a couple weeks ago. Maybe I'll pull that out here in a little bit while I'm here on Sunday cooking my ribs outside, because those ribs just didn't fit cooking at 225, and they've got about 3 more hours to go. So maybe I'll go grab my Predator out and show y'all what it looks like today compared to my last video that I did building it. But anyway, back to this one. This one's going to be more for riding around the ranch when I'm just checking the property out. Maybe filling up my feeders, moving stands or whatnot, checking cameras, or just plain riding around, just looking at the property, because we do spook up hogs. And it's going to be more for that style of carrying out there than it will be anything else. And again, I haven't set it for a can. I've got another can. For those that don't know what I mean by can, I have a suppressor that should be arriving. I thought it was going to come in Wednesday or Thursday last week, but it didn't. But I'm waiting on that to actually arrive. So hopefully when my FFL opens back up on Tuesday, because they're closed Sundays and Mondays, hopefully back on Tuesday he'll have some good news for me. I can't track it. I guess I should have asked him to give me the tracking number for it, but I did when I ordered it through him. I do, and I have another can through Academy Sports and Outdoors that I'm waiting on. That will be a dedicated can to my American Predator rifle, because I'm tired of taking one can off of one rifle and moving it to another rifle. Honestly, if you can do it, man, just buy multiple cans for your rifles, because that switching shit one to the next, or not having it in your gun case with the rifle that you want, and then realizing it's not there later on is like bullshit. I'm just telling you right now, I've done it, man. So I've got 4 suppressors now that are dedicated to rifles, so that I'm not playing the can game. But anyway, that's it. I'm gonna take this stuff off, and I'm gonna go outside and I'm going to look and see how my reticle. I need to take the battery out of this thing, or the little protector for the battery out, to check the illumination on it. I haven't done that. Now, that's how new this is. I haven't done anything to it, man. So I got all this stuff off. That's how easy that was. And whole pop. You know what? I'll do that right now. That way y'all can see what I'm talking about. I don't think you two will gig me on that. So these reticles or illuminated ones are going to come with a little plastic thingamajiggy in there. So it's not, your battery's still good when you get it. So this should come right off or out of there. Can y'all see that? Y'all can't see shit, can you? Let me back this up. Sorry about that, y'all. Back this up so y'all can see what I'm doing since I flipped the rifle. There we go. Yep. There we go. So we're going to take this off real quick. And it is waterproof. It's got a little rubber gasket on it. Make sure you don't want to mess that up when you go to put it back on. These are really fine threads. There's my battery, and there's that little plastic thing I was telling you about. Take that out. I'm leaving the battery the way it was. And we're going to put it back in, hopefully. I like to do it by hand and make sure my little rubber gaskets or ring's still on there. There we go. And it's threaded, no problems. And I'm just going to snug this up. You don't torque these things down, y'all, because you will wind up tearing your rubber ring that seals it. You just snug them. Just a little bit. I think that's good. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. So, there we go. Now we got it. Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Holy shit. I love that. Oh man, it's bright. It's a red dot right in the middle. Crosshairs, obviously. And it is cool as shit. Wow. It's got your different illumination, brightness. And there's clicks between them, like I mentioned in my video. When I got the scope, I showed y'all that, I think Friday. I can't remember if it was Friday. It was earlier last week. And between each reticle setting is another, it turns the reticle off. So if you like the number 1 position or number 5 illumination setting, if you turn it backwards or forward, it will turn the illumination off, so you're not running your battery. And then when you grab it, you just click it one way or the other, and you're back around that reticle setting that you last had that you liked. That's what I like about these. These are just cool. I would prefer a green dot, but I couldn't get the green dot. So you kind of get what you can get, man. But man, that's nice. I like that. Oh, look. Hang on. Oh man, that's awesome. That is perfect. Oh, the eye relief is right there. I'm excited, y'all. It is right there. Holy shit. I know they say it, but you don't believe it, right? You think, oh, they're saying that because it's going to be give or take or around that, right? That is right there. And my iron sight back here is not in my way. And you know what? I have to look at this, though. I just noticed that. I may have to change my mounts. That's riding a little low, I think, y'all. Y'all let me know what you think. It's kind of touching, but it's not touching. I may have to go with a medium. Shit, I did all that and didn't even look down below. But it is... Yeah, I think I'm going to have to change my ring mounts and go to a medium, y'all. I think I screwed up. Shit. Oh, man. I think I have some medium height ring mounts. And some of y'all may have caught that while I was doing this. Hey, this is do it yourself, man. If you don't do it wrong the first time, you don't know how to get it right the second time. But I've got to raise that. I mean, it's just touching. I mean, oh yeah, I got to raise it. That ain't gonna work. Not gonna work. Well, it looks like I'm doing another video on mounting this scope. Hey, that's a good thing. Hey, I'm not editing this. This is gonna go on. You know, it's not when I'm gonna post this to show you guys what not to do. You need to check. I thought my low mount was gonna be just fine with this, but it didn't. It's not. I think I have another set of rings somewhere around here. On this full-length Picatinny rail, it doesn't work. If this was just a little short rail, right, like most of them come with, where's one at? Crap. Anyway, some of them come with like a little 6-inch or 5-inch Picatinny rail over the action, and this would have worked perfect for that. But being this full length here, this full length, it's not going to work. It is not going to work. I may run the Bass Pro if I don't have some medium rings. I may run the Bass Pro, which is about 4 miles from my house, and grab me some, because I'm a little disappointed now in myself. I'll kick myself in the ass right now, to be quite honest. I should have caught that. And I know some of y'all are going to be like watching the video when I post this and go, man, he mounting that shit wrong, is too low. Well, I didn't see that when I was up here working. But then when I got down right here, I'm like, whoa, hang on. Oh, see this? I'm gonna hang myself. I'm gonna hang myself across. It keeps catching on my vise. All right, guys. So, hey, if anything, you get to see another video of how to properly mount a scope on a scout rifle with a full Picatinny rail that goes past the action. Because normally the Picatinny rails are just over the action, right? Oh no, not Rich. Rich has to screw it all up, man. I can't do nothing but laugh at myself. Yeah, I just fumbled the ball on this one, didn't I? It's all good though. I think I'm gonna run the Bass Pro right now. If I can't find a medium mount, vortex ring, scope mount and rings, and I'm gonna switch this out. You know what? I'm not going to do a video of that one. I mean, everything I just did is correct except for the height of my rings. Because if I shoot a video, it's going to take me, forever to do it. And I just want to go to Bass Pro, get the correct rings. But I will shoot a video after I mount it correctly, showing the medium height is what I should have done. I just screwed the pooch, man. All right, let me get busy, y'all. Let me go hit Bass Pro and fix my screw up. I just can't do anything but laugh at myself, man. I'm hoping I can go upstairs and find me some Vortex ring mounts for a 1-inch tube and fix this like in the next 10 minutes, because it literally would only take me like 10 minutes to do all this if I have the rings in my gun room or on my table here somewhere. But anyway, I'm Rich's Rants. Do it yourself and screw it up. That's should be my new YouTube channel name. Do it yourself and screw it up the first time, so you do it right the second time. That my wife tells me that you have to F it up the first time to get it right, and she is so true. I hope she doesn't see this video. All right, I'll see y'all later, man. I'm either off the Bass Pro or I'm at least upstairs finding me some new ring mounts. I do like these ring mounts, these Pros though. That's what these are, but I should have got them in a medium. Damn it. Should have got them in a medium. It would have been perfect if it wasn't a full-length Picatinny rail, by the way. So if y'all have just one that's over your bolt carrier here, if you have one that's just right here, the lower mount would be the way to go, I think. You wouldn't be, you can't have iron sights. You'd have to take this out. But that's what got my attention. I was still able to see the reticle, but I could see just a little bit of the iron sight. And then I looked, I raised my head up off the cheek riser or cone a little bit and looked. I'm like, oh shit, I could see it back here, right? Damn it. Anyway, I'm gonna keep bitching at myself. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all on the next video when I fix all this screw up that Rich just did. So here I am taking all this off. Right now, I am the Bill Dance of gun builds. And if anybody knows, old enough to know who Bill Dance is, or if you don't, go look up Bill Dance, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.